The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center were more than just symbols of American finance. The people who worked there were at the very heart of it. Like the small investment banking firm of Sandler O'Neill. Of Sandler O'Neill's 171 employees, 83 reported for work at the World Trade Center on the morning of September 11th. Only 17 made it out alive.
When we talked in September, you were saying, we're going to carry on, we're going to make this work.
That's right.
We're going to stay in business. Did you believe that?
Not really.
Are you surprised it's worked out the way it has?
Yeah.
I'm Mike Wallace.
I'm Morley Safer.
I'm Ed Bradley.
I'm Steve Croft.
I'm Leslie Stahl. Those stories and Andy Rooney tonight on this special edition of 60 Minutes.
The Twin Towers of the World Trade Center were more than just symbols of American finance. The people who worked there were the very heart of it. Like the small investment banking firm of Sandler O'Neill. Its headquarters were on the 104th floor of the South Tower, but its roots were all over America, providing financial expertise and services to small and medium-sized banks and savings and loans in places like Wayne, New Jersey, Sioux City, Iowa, and Santa Barbara, California. Of Sandler O'Neill's 171 employees, 83 reported for work at the World Trade Center on the morning of September 11th. Only 17 made it out alive. No one believed that the firm could recover, except perhaps for the people who worked there and let us follow and document their year-long fight for survival.
We first began reporting on what was left of Sandler O'Neill just a few days after the attack. The firm had regrouped in a small midtown office, joined by crisis counselors and therapists. The surviving members were searching hospitals for lost colleagues and trying to console and help the families and friends of the dead or missing.
Hey, Billy. Bill Hickey. How you doing, buddy? Hey, I just wanted to say hello and see if I could do anything for you, buddy.
The bankers and brokers and analysts had all worked the phones before, but never like this. Physically drained, emotionally numb, medicated with their own adrenaline.
I've already touched base today with Wright, Clark, Edwards, Collins, Wisnowski, and Brett. Okay?
The names and the families went on and on. Analysts, researchers, rainmakers, number crunchers, secretaries, and partners.
I was with Patty Rosen this morning.
Okay.
Were you?
Yeah.
How's she doing?
She helped me more than I helped her.
Sorry about all this bouncing around.
Sandler O'Neill's biggest asset had always been its people. They made their living with their brains and their personal relationships. Now that intellectual and human capital had been depleted.
It was just incredible that 66 people could be missing and nothing, just like they were gone.
As that grim reality set in, the job of leading the crippled firm fell on the shoulders of its 45-year-old managing partner, Jimmy Dunn.
Well, you see, not everyone's been found.
There had been discussions about selling or liquidating the firm, but Dunn made it his mission to try and keep it alive. For the surviving employees, for more than 100 parents who lost sons and daughters, for the 46 widows and widowers, and their 71 children under the age of 18.
How's this guy doing? Well, it's, I'm sad but focused.
The work helped deaden the pain, made them feel relevant. Within 4 days of the attack, they had already moved into temporary quarters, a customer service area given to them by Bank of America. But the firm's phone system, computer network, corporate records, and virtually every piece of paper had all been destroyed, along with the people who knew the most about them.
We have no record of the deals that we've done this year. Who the hell knows
Charlie
who it's
has
going
it
to be?
too.
A list of their clients and phone numbers had to be reconstructed from memory. Entire departments had been wiped out, almost all of the bond and stock traders killed, along with two of the firm's top executives, Herman Sandler and Chris Quackenbush. But Jimmy Dunn wasn't about to give up.
This is an attack on the United States of America. This is an attack on our capitalistic system, which we've thrived and benefited from forever. And I personally have. They attacked my firm. They killed 66 of my people. They killed my best friends.
If this was war, Sandler O'Neill had plenty of allies. Brokerage houses and investment banks, competitors in what had been the cutthroat world of Wall Street finance, offered equipment, people, and services. Whatever Sandler O'Neill needed to stay alive.
So we're here and we're doing business. Sandler.
6 days after the attack, the day the stock market was set to reopen, Sandler O'Neill had assembled a makeshift trading floor staffed by employees from other offices and departments, by friends, relatives, and volunteers, like Bobby Castrignano, a retired vice president at Goldman Sachs, who walked in off the street.
That day was extraordinary. I will never forget it, walking in the room, introducing myself to people I'd not known, them asking me, who are you and how can you help? And I said, well, I can take an order, or I can relay an execution price to a customer, or if things get really bad, I can get your lunch.
Before the bell sounded, Terry Maltese, who had been running Sandler's investment fund, moved in and took charge for Frank Salvatierra, Bruce Simmons, and 20 others who had died on the trading floor.
This has been a horrible week, as everybody knows. And it's amazing what's happened, and it's amazing everything we've had to do, and I'm very proud of everything we have done here. I'm more sad about everything we've lost and that we had to do this. Talking to the families was the worst thing. We've got a lot of distraught families, a lot of people that are very upset. People don't know what they're going to do, and a lot of kids and wives missing their husbands. A few days ago, we started collecting DNA here. These are things I never thought any of us would do. We've done them. We're going to continue to do every single thing we can do for the families for as long as it takes. But in order to do that, one of the things we need to do is we need to be in business. So today, we're in business. And it is going to work. We have no choice, okay? We're going to do this, and we're going to do it because not doing it's not going to be an option. And people want to do business with us. At 9 o'clock last Tuesday morning, Frankie and Bruce were standing at their desk waiting for the market to open so they could trade. The market never opened, and they never got to make those trades. The market is going to open today, and we're going to make those trades. Yes, our friends are gone. The desk is gone. We're here, and make no mistake, Bruce and Frankie are here, and they're watching us, and we're not going to disappoint them. All right, we're open.
Thank you.
But nothing went according to plan.
Gotta find out these phones aren't working. What is with these phones?
Mark, you're gonna have to use that. Is that phone good?
Yeah, we gotta
you
rotate.
take that phone, and
as soon as I'm off this line,
that's my phone.
We'd love to get an order somehow, some way.
That crisis was solved in a couple of hours, but it wasn't the company's biggest problem. One of the cable news channels erroneously reported that Sandler O'Neill had suspended operations and was going out of business. So Jimmy Dunn, who had never done an interview before, went live on CNBC to let his clients and the financial community know that Sandler O'Neill was still around.
You know, we don't, write songs. We don't write novels. We're Wall Street people. We're going to respond as we know how.
And respond they did. A group of programmers and software specialists who had worked for an old college roommate of Jimmy Dunn's drove all night from Chicago to work on the computers. But no one from the outside world could help the employees of Sandler O'Neill with their grief.
Funeral was...
I know. Brutal?
It was brutal. I talked to his grandmother, and she was reliving all the stories and started crying.
No, I understand.
What are you going to do?
We're going to get through it. That's what we're going to do.
Across the front of the office, on spreadsheets normally used to report sales and earnings, was a long list of funerals, wakes, and memorial services. And Jimmy Dunn was determined that there would be a Sandler O'Neill partner at every one.
Oh, God. My best friend's on Saturday, and a guy that we were in the same summer house with 20 years ago for 6 years is the same day, same time. And then a great friend of mine's that morning, so I'll be both of those, and Herman's is on Monday, so yeah. I will miss him every day for the rest of my life.
The services were heartrending, exhausting, and relentless in their sheer numbers, sometimes 2 and 3 a day into the month of November.
I want to go to the wake, so...
Every day seemed a whipsaw between somber responsibilities and small celebrations that marked Sandler O'Neill's return to Wall Street.
So, congratulations, boys, on the job you did on the Allied Signal. First deal we announced after 9/11. And look at that date. All right. Hey, Billy boy! Hey, you see this big man? What's that date?
December 18th.
What's that company?
Sandler O'Neill. Excellent.
That's a goddamn pretty thing, isn't it?
Competitors threw commissions their way and included them in deals, and most important, their clients hung with them, as Sandler O'Neill tried to rebuild a firm that had been started from scratch 13 years before.
We're going to need long-term quarters. We have in the firm, we had 170 people. We're gonna be about 100, and we're gonna grow. Okay.
For the first 2 months after the attack, Sandler O'Neill hemorrhaged money, expending a third of the firm's capital to help the families of employees who had died. They paid salaries and bonuses through the end of the year, making sure that total compensation was equal to or better than what they had earned in their best year. Family benefits have been extended until 2006, and an office has been set up to help families process claims and collect settlements from the federal government.
And you got the email about FEMA? You should call that woman. I've heard that they will do as much as 18 months of mortgage payments.
After a few horrible months, Sandler O'Neill's business actually began to improve. And while big Wall Street investment houses were having one of the worst years on record, Sandler O'Neill's clients, small and medium-sized banks, were prospering. And the bond market, 40% of the firm's business, has been strong.
Up 8.7%, much higher than expected.
The balance sheet has been in the black for the last 10 months.
How long have you been in the new offices?
We moved in the end of January. We moved in over Martin Luther King weekend, and on Tuesday morning, open for business.
They're located in Midtown Manhattan now, on a low floor of a building far from Wall Street and Ground Zero, with plenty of room to grow.
Where's your equity desk?
Well, these basically these 4 rows over here. We have about 30 people now in total.
So all these people are here, except for 2.
Yes, that's right.
Hundreds and hundreds of people were interviewed for the vacancies.
I will call him. I'll get references. If you're here tomorrow, I'll have him come back in.
Many of them by Bobby Castrignano, the volunteer who unretired to help Sandler O'Neill rebuild. A handful of survivors decided to leave the firm, according to Terry Maltese, because they couldn't deal with the memories.
When you lose everybody that you worked around, literally, if there were 12 people that sat near you and 11 of those 12 were gone, it's hard to sit in the desks and look around and see all new faces and not think about the old people.
How has the firm changed?
I can tell you for sure it's a different firm. There's 70 new people in the firm. And a firm like this is made up by the culture and the personalities of the people in it. Is there any more or less joking around? I don't think so, but the jokes are different. You know, is there any more or less work being done? No, but I think it's being done differently because it's different people.
HSBC announced they're going to buy Grupo Financiero.
The massive layoffs that rocked Wall Street even before September 11th have allowed Sandler O'Neill to hire top-notch talent. But Jimmy Dunn says it will be impossible to replace the 66 people who were lost.
We never, ever tried to hire a person to replace a person. On a very small gesture, we retired everyone's phone numbers. Because it is going to be hard enough for people that we do hire just to be successful in this business, let alone if you tell them that we're hiring you specifically to replace Bruce Simmons, to replace Chris Quackenbush, to replace anyone.
When we talked in September, you were saying, we're going to carry on, we're going to make this work.
That's right.
We're going to stay in business. Did you believe that at the time, deep down inside? Did you believe that?
Not really. You know, in those dark days of September, it seemed like it would be somewhat of an insurmountable task.
You thought the firm might go broke.
I thought that there was a real that our existence was was probably doubtful.
You didn't let anybody know that.
No. I except my wife.
Are you surprised it's worked out the way it has?
Yeah.
A year later, the survivors and the victims' families are in the early stages of the moving on, getting on with your life process, mostly at the urging of grief counselors. The Sandler O'Neill Foundation has raised $7 million for long-term support for the families, and the firm helped them establish living memorials to husbands, wives, sons, and daughters. A baseball field in Shoreham, New York, celebrates the life of 24-year-old Kevin Williams, who was a bond trader. A high school football stadium in Minnesota, dedicated to Gordy Ameth, now has a beam from the World Trade Center. And the first thing any visitor to Sandler O'Neill sees is a sculpture dedicated to those who were lost, the names engraved in black granite.
They wanted to give the kids, just the idea to touch the name.
They're still there in spirit, and not just on the memorial. They're there in conversations and stories, in pictures on walls and on people's desks. Men, women, young and middle-aged. 66 people who worked together, played together, in some cases grew up together, and died together one morning in September.
There is no possibility that they will be forgotten. The very first thing I think about when I wake up in the morning is the 11th. The last thing I think about when I, go to bed at night, when I finally get to sleep at night, is the 11th. And I'm not saying that's good or bad. It's just a fact. So the chances of me forgetting are infinitesimal.
On and on the rain will fall like tears from a star, like tears from a star. On and on the rain will say how fragile we are, how fragile we are. Tears from a star, like tears from a star.